a little superior.
Well, he might have been unlucky on that first red, which ended up stuck to another red, not on the black, but he was very lucky there not to leave anything. It was a pretty wild shot. I suppose if you pot long balls like Zhao Jintong can, I should say, then you probably think you could pot anything, but nobody can.
And just before we get into the meat of the action, I think it's worth saying here that while this match is absolutely immense for Zhao Guodong, there's no getting away from that, it carries even more importance for Zhao Xintong, because while Zhao Guodong has qualified for the Players' Championship later this month, with Zhang's win earlier in the first semi-final, Zhao has to win this match to be in Telford. If he doesn't, he will be a very notable absentee.
Well, he's in a spot of bother here. Red spread far and wide.
One of those frames where there will be not a great amount of development work with the pack. Whoever gets in first might make a few, should make a few. So another side note on that Players' Championship information I was giving you. If Zhao Xintong does lose this match, the beneficiary will be Gary Wilson, who will squeeze into the 16-man Players' Championship.
It's a pretty good shot to finish there, because there's always a chance that he's going to hit the green or brown there on the way through, and then he might have left a narrow, acute red to right middle at top one. But he played it well. He's such a good competitor these days, Guodong. Battles for every point, of course you're supposed to, but he has not always been quite so resolute as he is now. One thing he does know, though, is that his safety is going to have to be pretty watertight against the world champion, because he gets in so much with long pots, and that is a good shot he's played. There's some incredible balls that he potted there. This is probably more meaningful even. Stroked in. I think the key to the first shot was that the red that was coming across to the black has not blocked the black, I don't think, and certainly the red will be potable anyway. I mean, he was in a lot of trouble, but he's engineered an opening here from absolutely nothing. Yeah, I mean, extraordinary, really. I mean, look at the chance now he has. The balls are everywhere. We saw the other side of him, though, a little bit yesterday. Yes, he won against a really good player, Chris Wakelin, but at 4-1 up, he played 3 frames, were very ragged, of which Wakelin took full advantage.
Neil, you've talked about the imperative need for Zhao Guodong to keep things tight, or as tight as he possibly can. As for Zhao Xintong, I think his big thing, he has to improve on his scoring. In that win over Chris Wakelin yesterday, he made an 84 break, and that was it, the only half-century of the entire contest, even though he got through. So I think he does need to be a little more fluent in this one.
It's a little tight into that right corner. Well, I tell you, that was not a particularly good shot to finish there. He might be on this red. With all these reds scattered, how has he finished in this position? The bottom one cuts anyway, at worst.
22.
Again, the feature of his game, I mentioned it yesterday, but it's absolutely true. How he can
29.
get work on the cue ball without hitting it hard. Sign of a real class act. Again, he's not quite on the red he wanted to be on. Lovely recovery.
Not been an easy road for
35.
Zhao Xintong. He's dropped 11 frames in his 3 matches. Zhao Guodong, in comparison, dropped only 7.
36.
And it's been a tough draw as well. John Higgins, Mark Selby, Chris Wakelin. On paper, Wakelin was the least well-known opponent, but he gave Zhao Xintong all he could handle. No doubt the standout performance was that against Selby. 4-1 down, and then Selby only scored 11 points in the last 4 frames.
43.
It's just got a little bit of a stretch. It's for a left-hander. There's not much further across the table he could have reached for this.
$49. 50.
Well, it's a terrific start. He got lucky at the very beginning of the frame when he went for a loose red and didn't leave a ball. But the red he got in from was an outstanding pot. And just completely opened up the whole frame. He's not quite over the line yet. That was not
55.
one of his finest. He's got a little bit more to do here. Going to hit the other red is his problem. In potting this one, he can't avoid the red to the left of it as we look. That was very poor not to get the frame one.
Zhao Jintong, 55.
I mean, he had to really get on that bottom right-hand red you saw, and nothing could go wrong. But you felt that he didn't like the shot he was faced with in the end.
One.
And ample on the table for Zhao Guodong to get back into this. Doesn't have to concentrate on a single colour. He does have leeway. Plenty of it.
Eight. Nine. Sixteen.
Now, is he going to try and move the red on the left cushion? The problem with that is he might not get onto a colour very easily if he does play it. You know, that is the issue.
17.
I think he thought he might be on the blue. He didn't think the red was going to crash into it, I suppose. So now the pink. Well, it's probably the same sort of shot that we saw Zhao Jintong miss earlier into the opposite plug on the red. Doesn't miss many though, does he? Guodong.
Yeah, dependable, isn't he? More so now at the age of 36 than he's ever been. 37, by the way, next Tuesday. What an early birthday present it would be to lift this trophy.
$24.
So he's recovered from that misstep, although Zhao Zintong will be delighted that the blue has run quite awkwardly.
$26. Seven. 30.
And the deeper this goes, Neil, I think the more reliant Zhao Zhintong will be on that blue, because he's sticking at his task very well, Zhao Guodong.
Yeah, it might come down to it, mightn't it? It's an annoying distance away from the cushion, though, I think. Well, you don't know whether to cannon it or play behind it. Obviously, we'll find out what he decides to do. He might try and get on the green to move the blue and be on the brown, but I think he'd rather the... I know it sounds odd, I think he'd rather the blue was slightly closer to the cushion than it is for that shot. Well, he's going to play it. If the blue was to the right slightly, and where it is, and closer to the cushion, I think it would be an easier cannon. There's kind of room to get this wrong now and get too far in behind the blue. Played it delightfully though, all the same. Wasn't a problem. Would be a hurtful one early. It's frame 1 of a possible 11, but it will hurt.
The closing frame of the first semi-final went down to the black. The first frame of the second semi-final looks like doing exactly the same.
Now, the question is, can you just hold without hitting a cushion? But if you're using cushions, then you don't always end up perfectly on the pink to run it through on the black. Yes, he has. He's held it absolutely fine. This is run it through, probably off the left cushion, in behind the black. Terrific match player, isn't he?
58.
Guodong, and this is an early blow that he's struck.
Excellent stuff from Zhao.